What's shaking, everybody? My name is Ross Mandel. I'm coming to you guys live today from Delray Beach, Florida, Scott Woolley Studios. I have an unexpected, just an incredible treat. You're going to meet a very, very special woman today. She is an expert in human behavior. A lot of people, they come off as experts. This woman is certified. I mean, she is literally a human lie detector, a behavior hacker. She is somebody you do not want to have to negotiate against. Political influence, a consultant at the highest level. You're talking to governments. Help me welcome Susan Ibitz. So nice to see you today, Susan.
Thank you very much for having me, Ross. It's a pleasure. I'm so bad that I cannot be in person in Miami. I can use some time. As you can see, I'm in the Midwest.
I'm not so sure it would be safe for us to be in the same room at this point. I'm just going to say this to you.
Ooh, let's talk a
Because
little more about. Tell me more.
I am intellectually aroused because you are
Ooh.
really a different type of a cat. You know, first of all, what I like to do is I'm so interested in you as a person. I want to just sort of dial the clock back. Firstly, where were you born and raised? I detect an accent of some sort.
Really? So I was born and raised in Buenos Aires, Argentina. My parents were diplomats, so they stationed there. I'm the only one who doesn't have a fancy passport. All my brothers and sisters are Europe, Middle East. Like I'm the only one Latina, so that's what my passport says. And when I was 17, I moved back to Europe, where my parents are originally. So, but
When you say Europe, where in Europe? I'm just curious where.
my father was from Calabria. You're not Italian. You're Calabrese.
I
It's
love that.
different. La Cosa Nostra.
I
And
love that.
my mom family was from Vienna. My grandmother escaped from Auschwitz, and like a lot of Jewish people escaped from Europe and ended up in South America. Actually, the biggest community of Jewish people outside Israel was in Buenos Aires. And the biggest community of Nazis were in Bariloche because they escaped together. So, like me, a lot of Jewish people coming from South America, specifically for the south of Brazil and from Buenos Aires. But I left so long ago that I still eat dulce de leche and I drink mate.
I love that. You know, that's my favorite ice cream, the dulce de leche. And
Ooh, I do homemade dulce de leche. That is the real one.
I knew we had some sort of thing going on here, but that's crazy. That's my favorite. I mean, I might after this podcast, I very well might just go to the town center mall. There's a great Haagen-Dazs stand there and get some
Oh,
dulce de
God,
leche.
yes.
I love it. All right, so you are we've established now you're Jewish, you are multicultural, Buenos Aires, Europe. You come from a family of diplomats. These are very interesting things. And you know, you said something uh, as we met. We've never met before, correct? We've never spoken before,
No,
correct?
sir.
Okay, I want the audience to understand that. So we're connecting for the first time, and you were very open. You mentioned that you have a combination of Asperger's
And
and,
dyslexia.
and dyslexia, and then I made a comment because I'm a uh, very aggressive, uninformed male in these matters, and said, "Oh, so you're on the spectrum." So I want you to. I want to just see if we can unpack this just a little bit, and you could share. There's so much in that comment. Dyslexic, Asperger's, on the spectrum. I don't know. Can you
And
explain
Ross,
this to everybody?
you're not the only one who have a misconception. Even when you go to see doctors, when the end, let's go back into the beginning. When the DSM-5 decide that Asperger is not going to be anymore, and the only reason is they took it from the DSM-5 for the people it's not in the medical field. DSM-5 is the Bible of doctors, where if you fit in this box, that's how they diagnose you.
I
I
get it.
don't fit in any box, and I don't like boxes. But in order to have help, you need to be defined by some of these boxes. The only reason they took it on the last one is because as the Dr. Asperger was part of the Nazi propaganda, and so they decided everything related to that, they're going to erase it. But the problem is, Asperger is like, for you as the person on the other side, is like, I make you drink water from a water faucet. So Asperger's are go out. They're extremely intense outside. When the people with autism are really intense inside.
Wow.
They're more
Okay.
introspective. So Asperger, I'm intense, like putting the fingers in 240. Like people with autism are 110. So we're here, autism here. Asperger is better to read the room when they need it. But personally, I can be in front of somebody hitting me like, oh, really? He liked me? That didn't catch the bus. But I can go in a room and know who's lying, who's. So it's a different way to fight, to wire the brain, but we're completely different. So I fight with my insurance to make sure that I diagnose and as established as Asperger. When I was 17, I was in the uni. I started the uni early because I graduated from high school early, and they found out that my papers and my writing communication was from someone who below the line of intelligence. So they get me tested. They tell me that I'm highly dyslexic. And when I was 17, I'm 53, 35 years ago, we didn't have the access. Today is cool to have any of the things. 35 years ago was a death sentence because it says you're so stupid, you cannot even be a cashier because you're not going to make able to make a check, even your life depend on it.
Unbelievable. You're
And
100%
like
correct.
and Bronson says, I never know how to write an email. I make mistake. I make enough money to have somebody else do it for me. And I did the same. Then I went to Europe. I came back to the United States when I was 29. I was bringing to the United States to do something about politics. And when I was 36, going through middle of my separation, they ended up in divorce. I went back to London, where I was living before I came here, and I went to the uni to study. And I didn't know I was in the same room with three-letter agencies. And one point they put me aside and says, "We want to talk with you. We are recruiting people in this program, and we find out that you have Asperger." And says, "Pardon me, what is that?" Ignorant, like everybody else. And says, well, your IQ is higher than normal. You have 4 of the 5 type of dyslexias, and you have Asperger. 6 of every 10 profilers, the most successful profilers in the world, have your special combination, and we want you. And it says, time out. I don't care what 007 asking. I'm not good driving shift. I just gonna go back to academia because I always was told that I'm stupid. They're never gonna conquer what I'm gonna conquer because I don't get it done. So I came back to the United States. I went to Harvard, Berkeley, and I'm going on my 3rd master without having a degree. So that's how much we misunderstood and misunderstand as a society. I'm weird. I'm certified weird, intense like crazy, but I'm not stupid. And sometimes play the stupid because it's convenient. I should be blonde, not offense.
You know, I'm staring at you and I'm listening to you, and it just hit me. I don't know if you're familiar with the famous movie Bride of Frankenstein and Elsa Lanchester. That's what
I'm a Frankenstein. Another profiler used the term Frankenstein, so I don't use it. Like, yeah, I made myself. It wasn't a career when I started doing this 35 years ago. It wasn't a career to do that. You either on the FBI, CIA, or you're any other three-letter agencies. I'm a Frankenstein. Actually, you frame it really well. I never realized that. I made myself with fighting and getting where I want to go. I love when people says, "No, you cannot do it." I'm like, "Try me."
me too. That turns me on when somebody says I can't do something. I love that. I live for that kind of thing. I mean, I can't explain it. I don't know what it is that I feel like I have to prove my whole life, but that's just the way I'm wired, right?
Rose, since we were born, we says not supposed to. So the people don't remember 50 years ago, women need to go with their husband to open a bank account to get the pill. And let's go back without gender identification. Babies cry when they're born, not because they're happy, because now they need to feed themselves and out of the womb, out of the water. So we are fighters. So since with the concept of beginning, no matter how much good medical service you have, you're doomed to die. Women used to have 15 kids because only 3 or 5 survive.
Right.
So we are, as a society, as a human, we are doomed to be dead. Every year that we live, every minute we live is because we get against the odds. either today, look at the pandemic. Nothing was more democratic than the pandemic. You have a multimillionaire next to a homeless person on the hospital, and the multimillionaire can die and the homeless can survive. So the
Right.
odds, we're fighters. Life
Right.
tell us no. We decide to concave and says, okay, I'm going to take your no and not do anything with my life. I'm like, bring it on. Let's fight it.
So I have to ask you this question only because
Ooh.
it's the way I'm wired. So you mentioned earlier that you're a Jewish,
Mm-hmm.
and you had family that were involved in the Holocaust and suffered, et cetera, in Europe. Do you believe in God?
I'm a pragmatic. One of the things that Asperger have, we don't feel feelings. We rationalize absolutely
Hold on one second.
everything.
Asperger's, people that suffer from Asperger's don't feel feelings.
No,
Okay,
when some
okay. I
don't
wanted to
feel
just
feeling.
clarify that. Wow.
So we rationalize feelings. When somebody says, I'm depressed, and says, why? And people says, oh, Susanna, we're not going to have this conversation with you because you don't understand.
Correct.
And
I get
sometimes
that.
I feel something in my chest. Oh my God, I'm having a heart attack. And my friend and coach that she's always like, no, Susan, that's called feelings. It's not a heart attack. That is called feelings. So what happened with that is that we tend to rationalize everything. So what happened with me with God is I haven't had the chance to meet him. And I see religion go so much in what is convenient for you. And my first master was in manipulation, obedience, and false implanted memories. And I do believe in your relation between you and somebody higher than you. I don't know if what I'm going to call it God,
A higher
because if
power.
he, higher power, if he
Something in the
exists,
universe that's more powerful than you.
I call my grandmothers, they raised me. And let me tell you, the only time I believe in God is when something goes wrong and says, come on, dude, calm down and fight with me, fight face to face. Don't piece with my life. I cannot mess with yours. That is the only time I believe in God. But I, not a spiritual person, not a religious person, whatever is between you and make you better and you believe and get you out of bed every day, great. God, I have a problem with the title.
Okay, I use the title just because it's 3 letters. It's easy to come off my tongue. It's easy for me to start process, but I have also a sort of a more.
Love hate
Well,
relationship.
no. It's I don't. I'm 68 years old. You know, I spent 9 years in prison, in federal prison, for something that I did not
Tell me
do.
more.
For something I did.
Federal, that is okay for the people who doesn't understand the jail system. Federal is a PhD of criminal. So
Right.
this is not petty theft. You didn't forget to pay for a bubble gun at the end of the store.
Right. I manipulated the London Stock Exchange while I
Ooh,
was in London, and there were no Americans involved. And I did do all those things. I did manipulate the London Stock quite successfully, I might
but
add, quite successfully, and it wasn't all that difficult for me. But just, but just so you know, I was
you did
allowed.
what
Listen,
every financial advisor did. The
well,
part
not
is
everybody, but
they didn't get caught.
well,
That's
no,
the
no.
difference.
Mine was very intentional. It was what I was supposed to do, that I was
Hmm.
licensed to do when I was in London under UK law. But there were a couple of prosecutors that were sicked on me, that were told to get me, and apparently, they found that I did something wrong in London on the London Stock Exchange. The London Stock Exchange sent their top person to my trial and said, no, he did not. He did nothing wrong. In fact, they praised me for the way I behaved while I ran that operation, just so you understand. But, um, what is the truth have to do with anything in America in federal court? Zero. Look what they did to Donald Trump, 78 years old, a former president, a billionaire. All of a sudden, never arrested for anything in his life. All of a sudden, they find him. He's charged with 92 criminal counts. And by the way, he's been convicted of 32, and he's the most powerful man in the world sitting in the White House right now. You're sitting. I'm like a little guy. I'm like a child compared to him. I only have 4 criminal counts that I've been convicted of. So I apologize that I don't have
Ross,
quite the resume.
you really want to ruin our career because you're teasing me. I told you I don't have filters, and I was a political consultant, an influence political consultant.
I know. I
Okay,
want to get. I want to get into all this.
my first degree was manipulation of videos and false implanted memory. Let's put it this way: Clinton was impeached 2 times, but the economy was too good, so nobody dared to do that. With Donald Trump, legally on the tax law, and oh God, I'm gonna have the IRS come and bite in my ass. He haven't done anything illegal.
Correct.
Everything that is done, I always says, when I came to this country, I got 3 people: an accountant, a doctor, and a lawyer. My best friend is my lawyer. I don't breathe without talking with Mark. Mark Shorter, love you. Please don't die,
Give him a
because I
shout
will
out,
be
Mark. What's shaking, baby?
love Mark. So the law in United States is done to be broken by intelligent people.
Correct.
People like me maybe cannot afford the accountant that Donald Trump have, but he didn't do anything illegal.
I know that.
Immoral is not illegal. Illegal is not immoral.
Correct.
And the people who made it in this country and all the politicians, I work with all of them. So I don't care for flags in the middle, left, right. They're the same. They make everything illegal legal. Is the only way you can get to any seat when you have some power, because power has to do with that, has to do with capitalism, has to do with paternalism. And I did politics consulting in every continent you can imagine. I haven't seen the difference with the flag. So what I'm saying with this is, you need to attack in order to show you doing something, but those attacks are negotiated behind doors. You never go to the room to vote for any law, anything, if you haven't negotiated behind the room. Nobody come to a room and says, oh, we want Ross to be president. You know, you manipulate the situation, you negotiate behind the rooms.
Right.
Everything is negotiable. I want to know, and I will love to be a little mosquito to know what they negotiating, or what was the mean of the negotiation for all the counts they want to find him guilty, because somebody else didn't sit on the chair and negotiate. Because the dude, he doesn't negotiate anything. He's a bull. Sometimes he's going to knock a door, sometimes he's going to open it. Agree or disagree, that's his style. And at the end of the day, what I'm saying is, you don't agree with that, you have something called vote that gives you the right to decide. Because even though we have an electoral system that is different than other parts of the country, in other parts of the country you can have the majority of the vote, but you don't have the electoral vote. In this country, the majority vote in Florida and in Delaware and California, and you elect the president. But in this case, he was the majority of the election, the majority of the electoral. So you know why, Ross? Everybody want to be sleeping with an immigrant 30 years younger than you are and be millionaire and get away with murder. Sorry, guys. That's the truth. Let's be honest. I specialize in irrational people. You know that 95% of the decision people make are irrational, and
Irrational.
only 5% are rational.
My team prepared some work on you, and it says
Ooh.
that you, the author, first of all, the Chicago Tribune, which is a serious paper, it called you freaky. Psychology Today said you are the top expert in your field. Number one, you're the author of Irrational Humans, correct? And where you prove that we make 35,000 decisions every day, but 95% of them are irrational. So I just want to say one thing to you, because you speak, you're so intelligent, you have incredible insights, but you have an accent, and I know you don't feel feelings, but when you get excited, you speak quickly, and sometimes you're hard to understand.
Oh, completely.
And I don't want anybody to miss the brilliant nuggets that you're sharing with us today.
That is the Asperger with the dyslexia. Most people doesn't know about dyslexia. That's the reason when we start says, this is my voice for radio. I don't have a voice for radio, so I make an effort. I have a special mic with a little bling bling, by the way. Dyslexia, I have 4 of the 5. One of them is a speech impediment. When people says, well, you barely speak English, how you can be a linguistic? Because, by the way, the Israeli military who developed scan and statement analysis is Israeli. They develop in Hebrew. They translate it to English. One of them is a speech impediment. So no matter what is the language, I have problems to pronounce things in all the languages. But when I get excited, my brain goes faster than my mouth, and my mouth
Correct.
needs to keep it up.
I have learned by studying, tape of myself that I have to slow down when I speak because my brain moves a lot faster than my mouth and my lips can enunciate the words. It's very important, especially for somebody like yourself who is so brilliant. You're so next level that it's
Thank you.
important for you to understand, to allow the camera to capture your voice and so that the audiences can really grasp what you're sharing because it would be criminal for you to to speak this wisdom, but that people can't understand it. So I want you to be a little. I want you. Most of the time, in my mind, I'm saying to myself, I wish you would friggin', speed it up a little bit. You know what I mean? Because my ears hear faster than you know than normal people. But I want you to.
You're a linear thinker.
I
You
am.
like
I'm linear.
you use the stories for your audience, but your brain cannot take story. Like, get me 3 bullet point, 5 bullet point, and get the shit out of your head and stop
Correct.
and give me the juice. Don't tell me what is my sickness. Tell me how is going to be the treatment.
Right, but here I understand because I'm a very seasoned guy. I'm a negotiator. I'm told I'm pretty good myself. I'm a salesman. I'm told I'm pretty good myself. But um, this is media right now, and this is
Mm-hmm.
podcasting, and you have an incredible personality, incredible mind. And I just want to make sure that we capture what you have to say because you have helped politicians win the White House. Is that right?
Yes, I always says I did number 1 and 2 on the Oval Office, and for people who's in politics know that you're not allowed use that bathroom. So that's how I've been, and I have been in different White House around the world. I just say it because people is easy to recognize. In Argentina is the Pink House, and Peru is different, and French is different, and for the prime minister in London is equal to a president. So,
Correct.
I work with judges, and for example, in Boston, you don't need to be elected by the people. You're elected by your peers. So when I says I work in politics, it's not only to put president, government, or senate in place, is to put judges in the right place, lawyers on the right places. Those are working in politics. Everything is negotiation, everything is an etiquette. You need to play chess in your head. But yes, sir, I have put people on the White House, and you know what? I'm proud of that because I'm a freaking mercenary. If I do it, if
I
I
love
don't
it.
do it, somebody else is going to do it. And by the way, I always work with people that I don't like. Why? Because that doesn't get me bias. If I don't like you, I need to look for things that make you likable, that make you the perfect candidate. If you're too nice, it's like criminal lawyers. Do you know any criminal lawyer who work with people that is innocent? Uh-uh. The big law firms work with people that is guilty. They're easy to work with. Sorry, guys. It's a shot of reality. So your pink life, fluffy pink unicorn life that you have been reading and getting in your head is not a reality. That's how real life works.
All right. So now I want to just turn back the clock. You said you were 17. I guess
Mhm.
you had left Buenos Aires. You had left South America.
I self-emancipate myself at the age of 17 because in Argentina you need to be 21 to be able to travel without your parents'
Really,
consent. Hmm.
really. Well, that's
Yeah,
interesting. I never heard of anything like that. And
yeah.
then you went to Europe. You said
I went to Belgium.
Belgium. Okay, I have some people I'm very close to in Belgium right now in Brussels.
Do you want to know what was my first work?
Yes,
A pimp,
a pimp.
an unconscious pimp. I went to work as a bartender I always love people watching, and people says don't say that, and lately like why am I gonna say it? You never know what the best lesson of your life is gonna come.
Correct.
I wouldn't change. The only thing I regret in my life is living politics. Beside that, I don't regret anything. I love every wrong turn, every wrong person and right person that I met in my life because make me who I am. So
Wow.
I went to a high-end hotel as a bartender. Remember, 35 years ago, we don't have so much sophisticated mixology. Red wine, white wine, Scotch, bourbon. That's it. That's the name of all my cats, by the way. So I went, Scotch, bourbon, whiskey, malt, tequila, and vodka. That's the name of my cats.
Those are the name of your cats?
Yeah,
For real?
my cigar and bourbon friends pick up the names because they says if you keep those cats that you're fostering, we pick up the names. Guess what? They pick up the names, and
You
I
know, I'm a,
love it.
I'm a big cat lover, just so you know.
So yeah, you see, we
When I was
already
single,
talk.
I had literally so many cats. That little buddy, when I moved into my first apartment in Manhattan and began my life as a grown man, sort of, kind of. And then after Buddy passed, I got Benjamin. And then after Benjamin comes Muffin, and then Ben's son. Benjamin's son was Ben's son. And then I met Stephanie. I got married, and now I became a dog guy. And then there was Jackie
I
one
don't.
and Jesse and Jackie two, and
How
and
many dogs do you have?
well, we had when I went to prison, I walked out of the house. We had 4 dogs, and when I came out, there were none. It was very brutal
Oh,
for me. I still you're gonna make me cry. I don't want to get there, but I want to understand, and I want the audience to understand. I'm still confused. You're 17. You go to Belgium,
yes, sir.
get a job as a bartender.
Do ended up being a high-end prostitute uh, bar, and the high-end hotel was renting rooms to the prostitutes.
Okay, so
So
there were escorts available for.
ladies of the high-end ladies of the night, we're talking $5,000. So when I found
Now,
out
where
that, it
was this?
says
Was this in Brussels or somewhere else?
Brussels.
Okay, very interesting.
So let's put it, the oldest profession in the world is prostitution. The difference between the high maintenance girlfriend and prostitution, with prostitution, you know since the beginning that it's going to be a business.
Well, you also know the price.
You know,
Yeah,
you also know the price in the beginning. You
yeah,
don't
yeah.
need lawyers to get a
Right.
prenup.
Now, let me just ask you: you were never a prostitute, is that?
Nope, I was the pimp. I ended up being an unconscious pimp. So what happened
You would
is,
recommend girls to guys you probably weren't even
no, it
aware?
was
No.
better. So when I found out, I get fascinated, and the owner says, "Are you gonna quit?" Like, hell no, I want to learn everything. So they taught me what is all money, new money. They taught me what is the girlfriend, what is the lover, what is the second
I
wife,
love it.
high maintenance, fake person. So I spend hours and hours, and in exchange, when the people come to the bar, I know how much money they have. So I was pointing who is, and they give me a tip after. So it is abdicated. It's been 35 years ago. It was in Europe. It was legal. But what I'm saying is my first human behavior training came from people that is the most unexpected. That's the reason I love met people, and I never met or talked with someone based on the rank they're introduced themselves. Is for the perception says that person have the things together. I want to talk with that person.
I
Why?
love it.
Because that person is observing and not talking. So that is the person who managed the room. When everybody laugh, nobody is aware to laugh until they see somebody else allow them to laugh. That is the boss. How they walk on the room, owning the room. Those things was taught to me by the ladies of the night. So the next time that you're going to be criticize someone for what they're doing, shut up because you have something to learn.
I
First of
get
all,
it.
not to be so critical. Second of all, everybody's an expert in something that you're not. I was 17 without my parents. They took care of me. I was fed. They teach me how to talk. how to dress, how to behave, how to take care. They told me where I need to rent an apartment. They never threw to me to be working on that. Actually, they were really clear. They're not want me on that business. Then I'm in the right place until I was recruited as a political consultant and leave, but I'm still in contact with some of them 35 years later
I love it.
with those ladies, their marriage with kids, they don't have any problem with the past they have. They're proud of that because they pay for careers. They send kids to college with that career. So I don't see anything wrong with that. I'm proud of what I'm coming from. I learned from the best.
I love it. And since we're speaking so frankly, and I'm a little bit of an expert in human behavior myself, I notice how cleverly you put together as a woman today. You know, the hair is like an updo. You got the big intellectual type glass frames. You're showing a nice amount of cleavage, but in a very classy way. And so every man that is going to watch this podcast, they're first going to notice your hairstyle, but every one of them is going to zero in on your red lipstick and your cleavage, saying, "I wish you would take that jacket off." That's just human behavior. I'm an expert too, but I get slammed for it. You seem to get away with it apparently, and I applaud you. If John would
Thank
get
you for
upset, I would
notice.
get out of my chair. I'd get on my knees and I'd say, "It is a privilege to get to speak with you today, because not only do you get it, but you're authentic. You're willing to share it, and this is why people tune into podcasts, because what we just discussed, they're not gonna put it on TV. They want a pimp. You're a pimp. Cut it out. You're going to have, you're going to be dealing with all kinds of nonsense. And real people like to hear real stuff.
Oh, and the people who says chicken cannot be aborted by other chicken because it's rape. We have all these new generations that, we cannot pair dogs and breed dogs because it's rape. And like, no, it's called nature.
It's
The
called
only
nature.
animal that do it for fun are humans.
That's true.
Animals do it for surviving mechanism. We used to do it for surviving mechanism. So we are the only ones who are doing for fun or for manipulation. Sex is the biggest, oldest tool to manipulate people, men and women. Spies use it to get information. So Mata Hari. So let's put it clear this way.
They call
I
them
think
honeypots. Honeypots.
honeypot. So I think that we live in an hypocrite society where uh, I again maybe I'm too old. I'm getting too old and too critical. I don't know. But since people is going to criticize me for something, at least I'm going to be genuine enough
Me
that you
too.
criticize me for what you don't like because it's me who you're not going to like.
Me
And by
too.
the way, you save me so much time because I don't like people. I live in the middle of the forest. I'm okay with myself and my 6 cats and my Netflix Saturday night with ice cream. I'm okay with that. So if you don't like me in the beginning, actually it's a filter. People is so afraid to be rejected. How many meetings you have, how many dates, how many meetings you have with clients, they ended up not liking you because, oh, I didn't know you were this way. Like, well, better. If you're not going to like me, at least it's going to be for who I am. You're going to save me time and money because time is money. So I have a three concept. You give me peace, money, and future. So working with you, if you don't like me, is not going to work. Now, if I don't like you, that is the kind of business I'm going to go. But the point is, you need to trust me. You don't need to like me. So
I
if your
get it.
concept is you only working with me, I don't go to a surgeon for the gender, the color, or the title. I go to the doctor because it's the best.
I get
So
it.
if you work with me, it's for that reason. That's it.
All right. So you're 17. You're in Belgium. You're bartending and pimping. And but the woman I'm meeting today, my team says you have a master's in human behavior, behavioral economics, and neuroscience. Is any of that true?
Yes, sir. My first one, I didn't finish the thesis of the first master in manipulation, obedience, and false implanted memories. I want to be clear because the KL Ultra files, the CIA, Harvard brainwashing that did the Una Bomber, let's be clear, and I went to Harvard. Is not the files are not open.
What do you mean you
They're
went
going
to
to open.
Harvard?
Yeah, I after I become a civilian hostage negotiator, international certified, I went to Harvard Law School, the negotiation program to study with judges, and lawyers how to negotiate, because it says, I can negotiate with criminals. Let's see if I can do the same with lawyers.
The lawyers are the worst criminals. But let's forget that for a minute. So you have worked with the CIA.
No,
Okay.
I says what the KL Ultra, that was the main study of my first thesis,
Yes.
is the project that in the 40s, 50s, and 60s, Harvard and CIA did in Harvard,
Correct.
brainwashing people. One of the people they brainwashed was the Unabomber. For
Yes.
2 years, they tortured him from 16 to 18 because the files are not open. I haven't
Correct.
finished my thesis. My second master is in behavioral economics. I did a thesis and I put the two things that I love the most, music
Where
and
did you get
wine.
that? Where did you get that master's?
Barcelona.
So we got to slow down because we're hopping around because I have to understand how you go from pimping in Brussels and which listen, I'm cool with that. It like you say, it's the
You see, that's irrational. As soon as I says that, something in your brain trigger, you're red as a tomato because your brain gonna keep going like,
no, but you see, let me just say like this, okay? I'm a
okay.
I'm a you don't know my story. So I was really a brilliant young student, hardworking, a brilliant young athlete, a normal kid. My dad passed away when I was 16, and I just went crazy. I don't know how to explain it any other way. God was dead to me. I said, "There's no point in life," because he was a really good man, and he really worked hard to provide for his family, and he took a lot of shit from my mother, who was really not a good person, and I just went crazy. There's no other way to put it. And I couldn't handle the feeling. So I turned to drugs and alcohol. And I was pretty much stoned every day for 17 years. Every day. Not, a lot of people exaggerate and I'm prone to it as well. But when I tell you that, I'm being sincere. Every day I was on something. And to make a long story short, I acted out in ways that we don't have enough time to talk about this. And I don't know how much good it would do me to share all these different things, but I became a little bit of an expert in human behavior because I was actually out in the world doing much like you are when you were bartending, pimping, etc. You
You're not good at
learn from
reading
people.
others, but Ross, you're not good in human behavior if you're not having a damaged childhood.
Yeah, I'm very
So
damaged.
you need to get damaged in order to be good. Why? Because when you're damaged as a kid, you're all the time, what is going to be the shit hitting the fan? And pardon me if you need to edit
Right.
this peep. So what you do is all the time you're on warning, you're on an asteroid adrenaline because you never know. So you learn how to study the situation
Correct.
and learn how to be invisible when you want to be invisible, how to manage and how to avoid and ditch the bullet. So you're
I
not
get all
good.
that. Yes, by all the laws of nature and man, I should be dead 100 times over. But so there's some sort of higher power that has protected me, guided me, put it to me.
Did you find a reason so far why you're not dead?
I believe so. I believe
Good.
so. I believe
If you
that I
know it,
have.
you don't need to share it. But if you
No,
know
I
the
believe that
reason is
I have a higher purpose. It's clear to me and the people that know me. I have some sort of higher purpose. We'll use the word divine because there's no human explanation. But here's the thing where I keep going back to bartending and pimping. Firstly, it's great clickbait. They're gonna love it on social media. So I'm gonna keep saying bartending and pimping.
at
But
the
I
age of 17 when it was illegal. I wasn't allowed to drink, but I was
weren't allowed
puking
to
in a bar.
travel without your parents, according to the laws of Argentina, right? So how about that drinking? You can't even travel. Forget about drinking. But yes, and escorting and pimping. I'm sure that's frowned upon by some governments in around the world, right? So, but here's the thing: you end up becoming this brilliant expert in the field of human behavior and psychology, and you've coached presidents and you've taught governments, and you're you're considered one of the top negotiators on planet Earth, and so we have to bridge this now from 17 to 53. What the fuck happened? How did Harvard and Barcelona, getting degrees and learning, but also advising and you pimped yourself. You called yourself a mercenary at one point. You pimped
Mhm.
yourself out to make a living, right? To teach, coach, train, all these different words. So you're living in Brussels. Do you go to school in Brussels?
No, I was on the bar and a gentleman came around. I was 17. George was around 46, 50. And he kept coming to the bar. So I never knew clearly what he wanted. And the lady says, careful with this guy. We never know what is going on. So he started talking to me and says, what's going on? And says, I'm fascinated how you don't speak the language. You know only 5 words and you have the highest tips and you manage this whorehouse. And it says, people have need 3 things: to be seen, to be heard, and understood. So it says, tell me more, tilt my head, another drink, tip is not included. How can I help you? Keep talking. That's the only thing I need to learn to say on the language. And it says, well, do you know who I am? Like, nope. But when I'm sleeping with you, like, no, this is the less of the problem. By the way, I'm gay. Like, oh, good to know. So how can I help you? And says, I'm a political consultant. I'm thinking in the next 10 years to retire and I need to start. I want somebody to start shadowing me. You want to do it? And my 17 years old brain, who didn't know what to do, and says, if you pay more than bartending, let's do it. And
I
that's
get it.
how I started my 18-year career on. And I still come back when I said the ladies I'm leaving, like, no, don't leave. Like I came back and work with them and stay with them and help them after. But that's how I started my career in politics. And my first campaign run by me was when I was 24
Okay, I want to
in
get to that.
Mexico.
I want to get to in another country. Okay, I want to get to all this. Quick question I have: you're an attractive woman. You're 53. We've got that out of the way. You're 17. I'm sure you were attractive then, desirable, right?
Oh, no, 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 no. I was a dude. I was wearing pants. Actually, I ended up working with Hermes, Chanel, the group that managed that. And that says, we're going to hire you for the behavioral unit, but we need to make a woman of this disaster. I was wearing pants 5 size bigger, a t-shirt in under a shirt because I want to be invisible. I don't
Why?
want to be I don't want to
Why?
I don't want to have any pride. I was stupid enough to be intelligent enough to know that I was stupid.
I
And
like that.
I knew that I don't know anything. And when you show ignorance, you are preyed. And I didn't want to be. Actually, my business card says, look in the behind mirror. You can be decide to be the prey or the hunter. I choose to be the hunter. Let me know if you want to.
Wow,
So that's my business card. When people are like, whoa, that is aggressive, like, you know what you're dealing with. So
I love that. That's an
I was
awareness.
I was stupid enough to know that I'm able to be a prey and I didn't want it to be a prey. So I was wanted to be invisible. People don't see me, but let me be. And in
Right.
that case, and when I was working with this team, it says, I'm sure it's a woman behind that. Long story short, they do my hair, like in the movies, manicure, pedicure. I did all the things.
Yes.
And
Yes.
4 weeks later, we went to a disco in Milan, and this Versace underwear model came to me and says, "You're the sexiest woman in the room." And says, "I'm sorry, what?" And I dated this guy for 6 months. I still have pictures because I couldn't believe it. So I wasn't aware that I have any kind of attractiveness or that play with sexuality that you learn later. Actually, Sharon Stone did a really good interview after Basic Instinct, and she says the woman who made it is the one who know how to combine the lower and upper level.
I love that.
Brilliant. I was not gonna
You're
say
not
it.
gay, are you? Are you gay?
No,
Bisexual?
no, I like men like it's not tomorrow.
Okay. I just want. So when you were 17 and you left, were you? Had you been with a man? Were you?
Yeah,
You so you're not a virgin. So you
no,
actually made a decision to sort of cover up, dress down, so men wouldn't hit on you.
yeah. I will
Well,
not gonna become a prey. I want to
at
be invisible.
17, you made that. That's pretty amazing,
I
I
was a
think,
chameleon.
because
I'm a chameleon.
I was a hunter. I've always been at 17. I was a caveman, but a hunter.
because all
I
my
get it.
friends were men. All my friends were men. Actually, until I didn't develop as a woman, most people think I was a man because my mom used to shave my head. So when I fight in kindergarten and the school, nobody pulled my hair. So I was among men. My dad have a ranch. So during the summers, we went to the ranch riding horses. So everybody was a man. Always was like being feisty. I always was feisty. So I knew what has happened with the people that is weak, and the people that is weak is the one who's taking advantage.
Yeah, yeah.
And I didn't understood. I rationalized that many years later, the why I did it, but it's natural. It's surviving mechanism. That the reason is we are born crying because we are survivors. We're doomed to be the prey. You choose to be the prey when you're fighting for or not. And I choose not to be a prey. And so it's kind of ambivalent if I was a man, a woman, if I have a body, have a big boobs. And I didn't want to be seen until I find out that actually what I was hiding, it was my superpower. And now I work with a lot of women. Then it says, a woman's on heel. Give a lady the right pair of shoes and she gonna conquer the world. Stop fighting like a man. Get your inner bitch out.
I
And
love
I
that. Yeah,
love that.
I am mentoring a couple of women right now, and I say to them, I talk very frankly. If you really
Mm,
want my help and you pay me, I'm gonna tell you. And I say, you have certain assets, certain advantages.
mhm.
You have to use them. Business is war. It's
Mhm.
war.
Thank you.
Life is war. It's a battle from birth to death.
Yep.
And God has blessed you with certain assets.
Why you hide it?
You got to use everyone. I use every one that I have. I'm not tall, dark, and handsome. I never was. But
You know what? The best interview, I'm sorry I caught you, but I
no,
think
please.
it's important. The best interview and the best phrase I ever heard, and I always use it was Mike Tyson. So this is sport, classic sport interview journalist says, "Hey, Mike, why you allow everybody to see your technique? They're gonna copy, they're gonna undermine you, they're gonna diminish you, you're gonna be weak." And he says, and his voice and mine says, "You know what? Everybody's a genius. Everybody's an expert until somebody else take the small chair and I punch you in the face.
To
I
get
don't
hit in the
care the
mouth.
strategy."
Correct. So you get hit in the
Hit
mouth.
it on the mouth.
I
So
love
what
that
I'm
too.
saying, so everybody can think what you're coming from because you're a woman. They can underestimate you, overestimate it. I always says, if blonde was good for me, I would turn blonde. Not offense, a lot of blonde friends, but what
Right.
I'm saying is people don't see you coming. When people met me, they think I'm the second wife, high maintenance for an old dude. They're gonna take the money and I'm gonna be a stupid. And I play with that. And I love that because they don't see me coming. And that's what something women they don't get. They want to be too aggressive. The perfect woman on the business is warm and assertive and knowing when you play dumb and when you need to be the hunter. And you need to decide when you want to be the prey. Harvard did a study that 87% of the women, without knowing body language, they're better reading the room. Guess what is the percentage of men, Rose?
Very low.
42%.
Yeah. Half.
One of the biggest things the women are good is when neutral body language and neutral things and negotiation. Women understand I don't need to keep pushing. I need to back it up. When nothing happens, nothing happened.
I love
So
that.
if
You're
women
right.
we can understand that we have a superpower, why you fight with your nature? I want to be the girly girl in the room. Don't give me pink and hearts. I always says the same. Want to date me? Never give me a heart with anything, and nothing pink. I'm not a pink. I should show you my after air. I'm going to show you. I have a big black widow spider in my shoulder. I'm not the kind of pink girl, but I use my asset, and I love my high heels, and I love my Chanel dresses, and I don't have any shame to wear it and use it.
Why
I'm
not?
going to get on the room and everybody's going to turn their head. No, they're not going to know why they're turning their head. Neither what is see me coming. So you can, no matter how fat, old, Coco Chanel always says, you're never going to be the sexiest, no, never going to be the youngest, but be the most intelligent. And Oscar Wilde says, you're never going to be overdressed or overeducated. That is something that nobody going to take away from you. Be a lady on the room. Make sure you're a boss with high heels.
I mean, this is like a lesson for women worldwide. I'm just going to say that to you. You are an
A
expert
lot
in.
are gonna hate me. You know how many gonna hate me? Because I said, oh, you diminish women. Like, no, we have the power that nobody else have. Now, we
Correct.
cannot do the same things and men that. I want a boyfriend only to take the fucking trash. I have a big container. I cannot be carried. I cannot do little things. I cannot change a tire, but I'm intelligent and I says, oh, I'm so sorry. I don't know how to change a tire. Can you do it? You look so masculine, so masculine. Can you change a tire? Done. Sorry, no, I'm nobody gonna change my tires again. But anyway, so but a lot of women gonna hate me for that. The same reason the other women is, yeah, she's right. I
Who
don't want to be
cares?
right. I want to make you think. If these podcasts make somebody think, you're young, you're a Z generation, you're a millennial, you don't know what the heck is going on with your life. Make an accountability and take charge of your life. Nobody else is gonna make it for you. You're alone, my love.
You are alone. What makes you an expert in negotiation?
Has been married with a psychopath.
That'll do it. Not narcissist, right?
Borderline narcissist, and he got diagnosed by a former psychology profiler of the FBI that is specialized on that turf after 11 months of treatment and analysis. Know when TikTok diagnosed you? That was 16 years ago. And everyone says, oh, yeah, you said like, no, I didn't diagnose. I go to the best. And he was diagnosed. And I remember when my therapist says, well, I have a news for you. Your husband is a borderline narcissist. First thing I says is, what is wrong with me? Then I'm with him. And he says, number one reason that is the right question to do. And second one, I said, how long do I have? Because I want to start having fun. And says, that is twisted. So I have fun for 2 years with him. And after that, I leave him.
My guess is you're attracted to narcissistic men. That's my guess.
No, narcissists are attracted to me. And let me tell you why. Most people don't understand. Why narcissists look for intelligent, power women? Because not only women, let's put it this way, but all the men are narcissists. Let me tell you, women are more narcissists. We have more serial killer. Women are more intelligent to hide it. So why they're attracted to the opposite or same gender, whatever is the relationship with intelligent, powered people, because they're hunters. If you're a weak person, you're never going to have a narcissist in your life. Now, if you're powerful, they get excited only by they smell you. By the way, people
The
smell
conquest.
the conquest. So our narcissists get attracted to me. I decide not to do for free the work that I get paid for. So I don't fix any more men. You need to come fix it and we do things
I like
together.
that.
In my profile says, I hope you have your ducks in the row because mine are in military school. So
you are now we're still in Brussels.
yeah.
You
Oh God.
the political consultant. The political
Yeah.
consultant for he sees something in you,
Yes.
right? Something, and he's not trying to pay you for sex. He's gay, right? So he says to you, I'm getting old. I want you to shadow me, etc. And I guess he becomes a mentor, your first real mentor. Is that?
Oh yeah, it was my father for 18 years
Correct.
until he died.
And your father
He
was a
never
diplomat.
told me.
Your father was a diplomat, correct?
Yes, sir.
So you
He
came
was
from
the
sort of
artistic.
you came from a well-to-do family.
No,
Well, you don't
my
become a
dad was
diplomat.
My dad was an artist diplomat. He was recovering artwork stolen by the Nazis from the Jews.
Okay. It's
That's
even
the
more
reason we
interesting.
ended up. So we were broke. Most people think I'm coming from a wealthy family. Actually,
But you
I
said you had a
support
ranch. You had a
because is different. Okay, in Argentina, everybody have a ranch.
Okay, I
So a
get it.
piece of land is called a ranch. So what I'm saying with this is, I mismatched my glasses. So because he was trying to do farming, he was a dreamer. He was an artist, and like every artist, he never was rich. He was a dreamer.
I
That's
get
the
it. I
reason I'm not a
understand.
dreamer. So I'm not coming from money. in
Okay,
my
so
project.
you speak Spanish only, and then you go to Europe, and in Belgium they speak French as the main language, correct?
Je ne sais pas français. I live in Paris, but I never speak French. It's really difficult for me to speak it, but I learn. When I live in Portugal, I learn Portuguese. I'm completely fluent in Portuguese, Italian, and kind of English.
Okay, so this political consultant, he decides to mentor you in an odd way, right? And you shadow
Hmm.
him, and he said he's gay, and so
And
you,
he was.
I get it, I believe it 100%. But here's the thing: so you go to any do you do any schooling in the next 10 years in Europe, or do you do all your schooling pretty much in the United
I
States?
never took one of the reasons that I got burned out when I was 36, 37 is because I never took a vacation. Nobody want you to be healthy when you're a political consultant.
I get it.
So
I hate to say it.
you finish a campaign at Tuesday night, Wednesday 8 a.m. You take in your next
Your next
post.
one, right?
You have a pimp. It's funny because you ended up having a pimp that gets you to the next campaign. That says, okay, I have a consultant. She's gonna come, so you come to the next one. Nobody want you healthy because it's toxic. So you need to get messed up on the head and being tired and going to the next and next. The money is really good. The adrenaline is amazing. I miss the adrenaline. I'm
I get it.
adrenaline junkie 9 to 5.
Me too.
After 5 p.m., I'm a domesticated cat who doesn't want to talk to the phone. I get it. I have my monsters on the closet organized by name and color. I know who they are. My skeletons are buried in the place that I can find it. I did my work with myself. But it can be really toxic. The adrenaline, the power. You are the person who put a president or made it or not. You're the one who is on the head of the president, tell them what to do and how to do it. Let's be clear so people understand. You are the person who only talked with the president, nobody else. I remember my nickname, as you can see, I have a lot of Darth Vaders because my nickname in politics was Darth Vader. The first time I ran a campaign, the chief of communication says, "What the heck? We hired Darth Vader?" Like, I like Star Wars. Let's happen. Dun 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 dun.
Black
I like
Widow, Darth Vader. I mean, I'm starting. Bride of Frankenstein. I'm starting to see a theme here, a little motif.
a Star Trek too. Live long and prosper, by the way, coming from Shakespeare. Anyway, coming back to that. So you need to understand that that world is an addiction.
I
It's
get it.
more addicting than heroin. It's more addicting to anything.
I
You're
get it.
inside of
100%.
the head of that person. When people don't understand, when they're on the debate, you're in a cockroach on the ear telling them not to do the body language. You're in a room by yourself and that person does only what you tell them to do, how to bring, how to breathe, how to dress, the power you handle. So when you go in a room, you have the Secret Service or the people who take care of them. You're in one room and you're in the other one. The only people on the room are the Secret Service and the bodyguards. That's the control you have over a candidate. When you're going to testify in court, is the same. When you're going to be a judge, is the same. The power is so much that you are getting addicted and toxic by that power. So when you get burned out really young, like happened to many people, you step out because nobody tell you like, hey, take 4 months of vacation between campaigns. And I wish I knew that. I will never go to leave the circle because allow me to be completely ignorant of humanity. Nobody should the vice president. This, me talking, is horrible. It's painful because now I'm the president. I can be shot. Vice president, nobody shot them. And I was anonymous. And I love about that.
I get it. Wow. And so I'm just trying to, make sense of a few things.
A few things only. Good.
Yeah. We have, this is like, I have you. I feel for like 90 minutes or so, and I have to try and get to know you and get ferret out all the interesting things about you, and be mindful of the time limit and that we have an audience. And um, I want to create the best content that I can, but I'm also fascinated with you and who you are, and You're a very unique woman. I'm going to say that to you. I think you know that probably. I would love to meet you in person. I mean, I'm one of the things is one of the questions in my mind is how tall are you?
Okay, and American 5'7.5", but
That's
I'm getting
I
shorter.
was going to say 5'6", 5'7", but
But I
with your
always wear
hair,
high
you're
heels.
like 5'11",
With hair and high heels, I
and
look like
you're Jimmy
6 foot.
Choo's. I get it. You know you and
Oh no, Alexander McQueen. He and
okay,
we have
okay.
a secret relationship. He was gay and that, but he doesn't know he was the most expensive man in my life.
I get. Listen, I understand. I I had a beautiful younger wife, and I have two daughters, and I understand
Oh
all
my
these
God,
things.
you're surrounded. How old are
I,
your
I
daughters?
25 and 22,
Oh my God,
and
get used
they're
to.
the wealth in my life. I mean, I'm so proud of them, and I love them so, and my ex-wife is a beast, and she's wonderful, and we're really, really close and best friends, and I love her very much, and she's an incredible mom. Do you have children?
No, I choose not to.
No children. Okay, you know what? I wasn't sure, but the six cats are a tell. I had cats when I had no wife and no children. They're perfect. They're loving and
More people
delicious.
I know, more I love my animals. I live in the forest, so I have deers and cats, and people always says, "Oh, you're selfish." No, I knew I wasn't meant to be a mother. I didn't
Where
want
do
to
you live?
risk
Where
to
do you
ruin
live?
them.
Where do you live?
I have a beach house in a place called Ogden Dunes, Indiana, that it's a forest, dunes, and beach place. I'm 1 block away from the beach because I don't
Wow.
need to be in the water. I have a flat and a place in Chicago, and I have offices in Chicago, here in London. So I
And in
never in one,
London.
oh, yeah,
Where in
actually,
London? Where in London?
uh, and the crisscross,
Okay. I
yeah,
had a
across the park.
I owned a townhome in Belgravia for several years.
Oh,
Yeah, yeah, a few blocks from like the Dorchester Hotel and on Hyde Park and all. But so what I'm trying to understand is this: you become this world class political consultant, advisor, but you're a negotiator and you're a hostage negotiator.
I'm
And
the only civilian hostage negotiator,
right,
level 3 international certified. Let's be clear, I never belonged to any three-letter agencies. I'm a civilian because I don't like misrepresentation, and I respect the people who have done it with a government salary. And I will be a misrespectful to the people who allow me to become who I am if I misrepresent myself. So I'm a civilian hostage negotiator.
so if someone gets kidnapped,
Yeah.
they might bring you in to try and negotiate a ransom.
People don't know how many private hostage negotiations there have.
So many, so
Uh,
many.
so one of the parents take the kids outside the country. A big company sends someone to another country and they take it for money. They don't do going to do basically the private negotiations are easier than the hostage negotiations.
Of course.
Why? There are no media. They cannot call the police. They
Right.
cannot call the only people you need to deal with the insurance company.
It's a business deal.
So people don't know that the first, when you have that, the insurance companies are the one who call you. So what you basically do, you put your best suit, you have a card with the back with the millions on the back, says, okay, show me the piece, have 10 fingers, 10 toes, like great, perfect. Something happened to you. Great. This is the money. We don't work away in 10 minutes. The car is going to blow. You can shoot a boat. It's not about risk. It's about money. If the Taliban get you and they got you on YouTube, it's non-negotiable available.
Right.
What you need to do is work with the parents or the family to understand you lost.
Right. You
You
got a
lost.
problem. You got a bad problem. I get it. I
You
get
you
that.
have a you have a you have a funeral to place that if it's not in YouTube and it's private, you have a 100% options that that person is going to walk away because it's a money. When it's a money situation, is perfect. Are the best negotiation. You need to set the number. You're not in risk because you're the money taker and the
I,
money giver. Something happened to you now. So it's a lot of work than it's as much as I can say. This is how much I can tell. Again, people says like, what, like I live in an NDA, but What you see in the movies is nothing, but we need to understand there are a lot of things, and they need to happen that way. Because sadly, when certain agencies take control, you lost control of the negotiation.
I get
You're
it.
not in control of the
I
negotiation
get it
anymore.
100%. There's always a higher up that's got some agenda, and I get that.
And my only agenda is everybody's happy. I live with my check, and the kidnappers take there.
Right. I understand 100%. Now, they say that you can profile somebody within seconds, really, and that you're brilliant. And you pick up from body language and all these different type things. And I believe it's a combination, for just from our chit chat now for over an hour, from your life experience as a young woman growing up in Argentina, that trip to
Don't
Europe,
forget being a pimp. Don't
right,
forget to be a pimp.
right, well, traveling on your own,
Yeah.
before you even became the pimp bartender, traveling on your own, you learn a lot about yourself and the world around you, because you have to be successful, getting to whatever destination you've chosen, and then getting the job. That took some skill, and you're learning. Your eyes are wide open when you're young. You're absorbing information, and then you're
Everybody,
bartending
you
and
know what,
pimping.
Rose? Everybody have the same eyes. And I call it the red Ferrari. Red Ferrari is, as soon as you want to buy a red Ferrari, you see a red car and Ferrari every corner, or yellow Lamborghini is easy to
100%
pronounce.
correct.
So once you see it, you cannot unsee it. What I did is I was aware since I was young to what to pay attention, what is the danger zone. And everybody can do the same. The problem is parents, they don't talk with the kids anymore. We don't have mentoring where you can teach people how to keep their eyes open and what they need to be looking for. Everybody's afraid to say the things. But
I
I
get it.
have a really good luck to have a gay boss who mentored me to show me how to defend myself and what to pay attention to be emotionally and physically safe. Everybody have the same chances than I have. I was really lucky to have the right people in my life. Let's be clear. Everybody can do everything they want to do. They need to have the right circumstances, environment, ecosystem, and the people hold your hand. The problem is when the wrong people hold in your hand.
My take, from 30,000 feet up on you, is that God chose your path for you. I'm very, very, the older and wiser I get, the more life experience I get, the more I realize there is an order to things. And it's been written. And so, your eyes are your eyes, the Asperger's and the different issues that you have, your adventures that you've been living, the experiences that you've been in and out of, all bring us to this point in time, and this moment. We're exactly where we're supposed to be. And there's a higher power somewhere in the universe where this has been etched long before we even existed. That's my opinion. But now my
2 hours
questions.
ago, we were supposed to be here.
Yes.
I was in the mastermind and we're like, hey, I have and I don't have any problem to know that I'm a second option. Like, I guess drop and says, hey, do you want to talk? I just happened that I'm free at 11.
Right. It just.
And we talk and says, oh my God, he gonna love talking with you. Here we are.
Right.
So everything, you need to be open. If I want to be checking my phone because instead to be in 20 different masterminds, I'm for that the quality of the people is the quality of the people I want to surrender myself. You are a sum of the people you surrender yourself
Correct.
with.
I have
Don't
an
waste your
excellent team.
time.
I have an excellent team, and they gave me an option. They said the doctor that was scheduled today he confirmed yesterday, but he had an emergency this morning. And I was prepared for him, and they said, listen, we have a cancellation. Would you like me to try and find somebody to fill that space? And myself
Okay.
and my director said, why not? We're ready. And you just happen to be perfectly available, and it's stars align. Here's a question for you.
Okay.
You can profile someone in 30 seconds, they say, like nobody. Okay? We've established already, we've never met before. We've never spoken before. This whole thing happened by accident. We have been interacting with each other virtually, but interacting for about 80 minutes. Tell me about Ross Mandel. Profile me.
You measure things by time. You have a sense of urgency about everything. Everything has to be in a certain place. You're always running for something. I don't know if you know where you're going, but everything need, okay, next, next, next. My concern is that sometimes you can miss things because you're always thinking on the next one. You're not completely present. Your brain interrupt your thoughts all the time because there happen too many, too soon, too often. And that can be one of the things like, okay, you measure everything by time. 90 minutes, 80 minutes, we have time. You always talk about time. So for you, if we go into a place and says, okay, how long is it going to take us to go from home to the restaurant? Around 30 minutes. I resolve one of my best cases because they measure by distance and it says measure by time. I can says it's going to take 10 miles. Time, depending on the time of the day. For you, you need to measure. If I'm going to tell you, Ross, we're going to go, don't worry, it's going to take us only 35 minutes. I cannot tell you it's going to take us 10 miles or the car we're going to be using. I need to tell you the time. You're not, you can be pessimist when you talk, and people don't understand because people think you're outbid. You are really, really good keeping secrets from other people to yourself. That can be dodging, and that has made some measurement on you. What people doesn't know how generous you are with everybody around you. You're not going to be posting how many pro bonos you do, how many people you help. You don't freaking care. You do it by yourself because you want to see yourself in the mirror and be happy with that. But you are probably donating more money or time, or what is the money of exchange that people need from what I can do for you, and I don't care what you can do for me. You can be a chameleon on the room, and that would kind of similar. You can be in a corner observing until you know what is the kick of control. You like to observe until you can be 100% in control of the situation. You don't like to be caught unprepared or unexpected. Even though you're dying, you're going to say you're Superman. You're never caught on guard. And you know how to ditch the bullet and convince everyone about whatever you want to be convinced. You are intelligent, created. You're the most danger animal out there because you're an intelligent person and a doer. And even though you can help everyone, you are the person who can give water to a homeless. You don't care about the feelings of the people when the things that need to get done. Let's do it. Okay, you're going to think to it to do it, get done, and says, I'm sorry, honey, that offending you, go to therapy. Next. But after the things are done, you're going to say, I did offend you. Okay, but I need to get it done. You're not going to say sorry. You're going to justify why you did it because you learned yourself how to do it. Maybe because you have daughters. But the point is, and I don't want to see you pissed off. You're
No.
intelligent. You're going to know what to tell me. You have been really intelligent how to lure me and lower my shield, getting on complimenting things that you know that a person like me is going to like or going to fall for it. Really intelligent. Chapeau. But
You
it's
never listen. You
extremely,
never took your jacket off. You
I
know,
will not to.
you know what I'm saying.
I will not to.
I want to
This
just
is
say this to
making
you.
you, this is make you extremely uncomfortable because you're not the person to be seen. And the reason you're licking your lips is because you're getting aroused at how the heck she get in my head. And that is what's blowing your mind, but you're the most dangerous hunter I counter in a lot of time. You're charming. You're a great manipulator. You know when, how to wear, and you can get away with murder. Sir, congratulations.
Very good. I want to just say this to you. I don't know how many people out there that are going to watch this that actually really know me.
You're going to cut this because it's giving you
No, no,
away.
no. We don't cut anything. But I want you to know, excellent. If we were in school, I'd give you an A, maybe an A plus. You gave me stuff to think about too. I mean, really good. I want to say this to you. Really good. I'm not
I have
worthy.
people who now you understand why they call me freaky. Sometimes people jump in interviews without telling me who is going to be. When I did the Chicago Tribune, they ended up David ended up so freaked out that I ended up on the front of the Chicago Tribune without knowing me. My friend, like, why you're on the front of the Chicago Tribune? Like, I didn't know that I'm gonna end up there. It's because I didn't know because he says I'm a bluff, and he ended up putting me. And when I did another interview on a Facebook, the guy says, I only to call you to prove that you're wrong, that you're a fake, you're a fraud. But I hate to say that you can profile anybody in 90 seconds. This is freaky. It's uncomfortably freaky how much you know me.
You know, I was giving you a lot of micro expressions, and you pick up on them. And I'd hate to play poker with you. I'd have to really re-examine all my
I
little.
train people to play
Of
poker.
course you do. What a shock. I'm not surprised, but it's been so great meeting you like this and getting to know you. And because yes, I do have a sense of control. I have a control issue, even though I'm in big denial about it. If you asked me, it kills me that I don't have access to you in person right now. So if you're going to come to Florida at any time, and it's a lovely place to come, I would
I
love
used
to.
to live in Miami.
I would love to
Uh,
meet
the
you.
north, the north of Florida, yeah, I'm probably gonna go when it's winter. You're not gonna get me in Florida before November, so
Well, but here's the thing: if you do come, I want you to please reach out, and
I will.
I would love to buy you a drink, buy you dinner, get to know you, have you in my studio for real. And if I come to Chicago, which I intend to do, I am
Please do.
going to make sure I reach out to you, and I get to see you in the Windy City. Is there anything else you'd like the world to know that we haven't covered? As we're
By
going
the
to wrap
way,
up.
I'm going to your studio. I want you to bring pictures of your team, and I'm gonna profile their by a picture without talking to them. That is the freaky thing that I can do.
Well, let me tell you, if you could figure out John from the picture, I'm happy to
Uh,
pay you because
oh,
I see him every week, and I still can't figure him out.
okay,
A
John, are you
complex
in the
man.
studio? John is on the studio?
Yes, right now.
Okay, after we stop recording, John, if you can, please come back and don't say anything. Just sit on that room. So what we can tell people where they can find me, what I do says, well, you see what the witchcraft I do. I'm a human behavior hackers, and people hack computers. I hack humans, and I have fun doing it. I would love to work with you if you are waiting to get whatever you want and you haven't find the meaning. That is because you want to be this best sales reps. You want to be a judge. You're a lawyer who want to win in court, or just a woman who are waiting for the chance to somebody tell you, got those shoes, that pen skirt, and own it.
I want to thank you so much, Susan, for being here today. I am,
Thank you for the chance.
and I am so grateful. Thank you again.